All right, well, welcome. Thank you everyone for joining us for our final installment of Retirement Reimagined, Staying Connected. I'm Melissa Martz. I work for the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging, and we have been partnering with ENT Federal Credit Union for quite a few years, putting on this Retirement Reimagined series. And we welcome the people who are here in the room with us today, as well as those people who are online. And so with that, I'm going to bring up Bree from ENT to introduce herself and welcome our speaker for the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Bree Shalito. I'm the Director of Financial Wellbeing for ENT Credit Union. ENT is Colorado's largest credit union. We're excited to partner on series like this just to bring education to our community. So thank you all for being here online and in person. It's my pleasure to introduce Regina. Regina has been happily retired for 17 months. Prior to her retirement at 65, she worked as an independent Medicare insurance agent at the Medicare Resource Center for 3.5 years. She also worked in the senior living arena at the Inn at Garden Plaza, where she started her journey with Senior Resource Council, hosting their Dine and Develop luncheons. Regina has been actively involved with the Senior Resource Council since 2018 as a member, volunteering on the committee for the Joe Henjum Accolades for 6 years and the upcoming Holiday Dinner Dance for the last 2 years. She has been on the board of directors for the Senior Resource Council since January of 2023. Please join me in welcoming Regina.
Well, thank you for coming. Just want to have a little fun fact about me. I've got my little Halloween scarf on today. So I got married on Halloween in 1992. So this year will be 33 years. But people do ask me, why did you get married on Halloween? Well, it was the last Saturday of October in 1992. That's the only reason. So, but my family does remember our anniversary. So with that, title of my presentation is Shifting Gears, Not Goals. It is Staying Connected Beyond Retirement. We have a little bit of retirement wisdom here. Retirement is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of an open highway. And that was unknown. This is Regina. Retirement can have lots of speed bumps. So has anybody heard of the silver tsunami? It's here, right? It's here. So every day, 11,200 Americans turn 65. That's up from 10,000 just a few years ago. So we have a lot of folks turning 65 every day here in this country. So the silver tsunami is a metaphor that refers to the massive wave of baby boomers reaching retirement age, creating a significant shift in the population age structure. A massive wave of baby boomers, pressure on healthcare, massive wave of baby boomers equals pressure on the healthcare and senior living. More people are going into the hospital. More people are, not able to stay in their home, and so they're going into senior living. So there's just a lot of pressure, and a lot of pressure on healthcare professionals because we do have a little bit of a shortage of healthcare professionals these days. So I am part of the silver tsunami because I was born in 1958. I'm 67. So I've got the gray hair to go along with it too. Okay, we all have different paths to retirement. I'm sure every single one of you ladies out here that are retired had a different way that you did your retirement. Plans vary. Some are very smooth and some are full of surprises. It depends on if you have to retire early because of illness, or if you got laid off your job, or they wanted to retire you early. Unexpected circumstances like COVID can accelerate the timeline. Now, COVID accelerated my timeline quite a bit. So we all have to remember that flexibility is key. We have to learn to pivot. I had to pivot a lot and be flexible. So I do use my hands a little bit. I'll try to keep them down. Okay, my retirement story. I took Social Security at 62. I wanted to work until I was 65. But when COVID hit, I was working in independent living. So I left senior living. It was just very difficult because we were pretty much in lockdown the whole time and nobody wanted to move into independent living. We had people leaving, and so it was just a very stressful time for everybody. So what I decided to do when I left senior living is become a licensed Medicare agent. I had met Liz McPherson, who owns the Medicare Resource Center, at a networking event, and she kind of talked me into giving it a try. So I studied very hard for the test, and I was lucky enough that I passed it. So I became a part-time licensed Medicare agent. Because we know if we take early retirement, we can't make a lot of money or we're ending up paying it back. So it was kind of nice that I got to just do part-time. So I'm 67 now. I fully retired at 65 when I was able to go on Medicare. And I sold my insurance book of business, which was another reason why I was really able to retire then. But I did have lots of speed bumps and emotional turmoil along the way, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So this is my husband. This is my husband's journey, which is completely different than mine. He retired at 62, and he never has looked back. So he is 11 years older than me. So I was a youngster, right, when he retired. But we had a daughter. We have a daughter. She was only 9 at the time. So he became Mr. Mom and stayed home because I had a job that I traveled a lot. Lived in Arizona. I pretty much had the whole state of Arizona that I was traveling around. So he stayed home and took care of the daughter while I was on the road. So he has his hobbies. Has anybody heard of Words with Friends? Okay, my husband's been playing Words with Friends for 9 years. And he told me today sometimes he can play up to 7, 8 people a day. Oh, sorry, different people. But I don't mind because I think it really kind of keeps his brain sharp. It's, it's on the iPad. It's a Scrabble game. So I don't mind. He gets up at 5:30 in the morning, and I just kind of figured out why, because he's got people he plays on the East Coast, and they're already ready for him to play. So me, I've never played the game. Loves to play guitar. That helps him a lot too, and he loves to garden. We have a backyard that I say he created a monster, but it's very pretty in the summertime. Okay, so now we have the emotional side of retirement, because retirement, again, depending on how you retired, can be a very emotional experience. It equals freedom, but it also can equal challenges. So you have an identity shift and loss of professional role. If you worked in the same position for 30 years, when you retire, you may feel like that was your identity. And now you have to kind of reinvent yourself. So the importance of intention and support. Intention is you've got to have a plan. Now, not everybody has a plan and the support. I mean, when my husband retired, he had the support of me. When I retired, of course, he was already home and loving that I was going to be home more. But everybody needs to have a plan, or hopefully have a plan. So some of the common emotional challenges that we can run into is again talking about how work can be tied into your self-worth. Like, what now after work ends, as many people tie their self-worth to their careers. I never had that problem. I never thought that my career, I never really thought about it. I guess I was just so glad to be retired. I never really thought about, oh, who am I now? This is a problem, though, that I do have problems with still, is having daily structure in my life. I've always been one, excuse me, to need structure. So I sometimes have feelings of guilt if I don't get things done. My husband, just the opposite. He could care less. So it's like I tried to even get us on a schedule and that didn't work. So right now, when I said flexibility is key, you got to be flexible, and not be too hard on yourself. You've earned it to be retired, right? That's what I keep telling myself. But that has been a little rough for me. So of course, the mental health, staying socially and intellectually active again. Recently, I started doing word search because they're kind of easy. And I'm doing a puzzle. I'm going to do a 500-piece puzzle, which I've never done before. So I'm trying to do things and get off my phone and my laptop and do things like this to keep the brain going. So some things you can do, aging with intention, legacy planning and estate documents. Now, Sarah Stein did a talk here just a few weeks ago. I don't know if any of you were here. Well, Sarah is our lawyer and she did our estate documents and she was awesome. Because you've got to keep that up, especially when you get to be our age and you have a daughter who's only 25, that things need to be spelled out. So when you think about estate planning and wills, also think about passing down values, not just your assets. Volunteering and giving back, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Opportunities for reinvention, new passions and creativity. Okay, this is a picture of my brother. And you can see there that he is doing a ceramic pot. Well, his name is Rourke. He lives in California. He's a year older than I am. So we were pretty close going through school together. He started this in high school. So you're talking 50 years he's been doing ceramics. So he went to college on he got an art degree. But when he got out of college, he really couldn't find a job that he could sustain him and his family with doing ceramics. So he became a chef. And he was a chef in several beautiful large hotels. So he was a very good chef, executive chef. But it was very grueling, hard work. So he did that for probably 30 years. And he just retired not too long ago. And and through all of this, he had been doing his pottery, but when you work 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, you just don't have time. So there's a place in La Quinta where he lives called the Artisans Art Gallery, and he could literally go in there and they call it throwing a pot. So now he is able to go in there and work on his pottery, and he also teaches class there. So when I talk to him, he just sounds like he is just so happy that he's I think he's like reinvented himself. So, and he's very good at what he does. My house is full of his pots over the years. So he was pretty excited when I called him and said, "Do you have a picture you can send me?" He was sending me all of these pictures. Yeah, so yeah, he does beautiful work. All right, mental and emotional well-being. Freedom versus emptiness. We all have to create goals. Like I try to create, okay, what am I not even going to get done today. What am I going to get done this week, right? What am I going to get done this month? So we create goals because you have so much freedom now. But if you don't have goals or an agenda, you can feel very empty from that. Depression, anxiety are very common among seniors if they don't stay emotionally active. And a lot of that can be from them not feeling well, getting sick. Yeah, depression, anxiety are pretty common. So keep the brain engaged. Reading, puzzles. Like I said, I'm doing puzzles now and learning new skills. And I was saying before that I hadn't done a PowerPoint in years. Well, this was my new skill, to learn how to do a PowerPoint. I was pretty proud of myself on some of it. My daughter had to help me with some of it too. All right, we get into social isolation risks, and it is pretty amazing, the statistics here. 25% of adults 65 plus and older are socially isolated. That equals to be about 15 million people in this country. That is a lot of lonely seniors. 6.7 billion yearly in Medicare spending tied to isolation. And this is due to increased hospitalizations and institutionalizations. People aren't taking care of themselves. If they're isolated, either they're not eating or they're eating too much, they're not exercising, they're just not taking care of themselves. So social isolation just doesn't feel bad. It is linked to anxiety, depression, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Oops. Okay. Sorry. Staying connected. How do we stay connected? So, of course, we have family and friends, hopefully, around. Time with grandchildren. I have a 19-year-old step-granddaughter, but she lives in Florida, and she is just starting college, so we don't get to see her very often. Game nights are fun if you have family and friends who like to do that, and reunions. I'm very lucky with our family. Every other year, we either go to Arkansas or our Arkansas cousins come to Colorado. So we have been able to stay up on family with reunions. Okay, home projects. Redecorate, declutter, garden. So right now what I'm trying to do is redecorate a little bit my house. I'm finally painted 2 rooms that I've lived in my house 13 years. And 2 of the rooms were never painted. It was a room downstairs about maybe the size of this. It's not a basement, it's just a room, 400 square feet. It was like prison gray. It was awful, awful, awful. But we just never really spent a lot of time down there. And then I also have an office, because it's a much smaller bedroom, that was a nursery. So that was purple and teal. Okay, so I have painted both, or actually our painter painted them for me, and I love them, and I'm spending more time down there. And I'm trying very hard to declutter. I'm sure all of you who've lived in your home a while, it's very hard to let go of sentimental things. My mom, I have a china cabinet full of my mom's stuff, and not stuff, things, and my husband has the other half from his family. So I'm in the process of trying to declutter. And then, of course, I don't garden, but my husband loves to garden when he can. He's had some health issues lately, which definitely was one of those speed bumps for my retirement, but he's doing much better. Okay, health and wellness. What I've done lately is I'm really splurging, and I got myself a personal trainer. I hate to go to the gym. I don't exercise. So I actually hired somebody to come to my house, and I'm still not that motivated. Okay. When she's there, I am, but I had to work out before I came here. So anyway, but health and wellness is something so important when you're retired, to keep yourself healthy and your mind healthy. And we talk about chair yoga. That's kind of the new thing. My husband tries to do Tai Chi and, in our kitchen. I would love to do a Tai Chi class. We both walk, both been trying to eat a little bit better, because good nutrition is very important also. Okay, purposeful activities. Now, I'm sure the ladies know what purposeful activities you can do that you enjoy, but some of them are volunteering and giving back, and you can do that at schools, hospitals, shelters, and senior centers. And the Colorado Springs Senior Center just reopened. Did anybody go to the grand opening? Oh, there was 1,000 people there. It was incredible. I used to spend a lot of time at the old senior center with my job, and it's just beautiful. It's in the same area. They just tore down and rebuilt, and it's just gorgeous. So you can also do part-time work, freelance, start a small business, teach like my brother's doing, and join boards, mentor. There's all kinds of things you can do to purposeful activities, but sometimes it's just hard to get yourself motivated to take that first step. Okay, lifelong learning and exploration. We can do a college or an online class. What's nice about that is you don't care what grade you get, right? You can get a C and it'll be okay. Learn a new language or instrument. That's not for me. I tried twice to learn Spanish. I couldn't do it. Could not do it. Instrument, I don't have any musical talent whatsoever. My husband has that. So travel, sorry, I didn't do that right. Travel is dream trips, local attractions, RV or cruises. Now we all know that depending on if we have the finances, we can go on our dream trips. I just went up to Cripple Creek Friday and saw the leaves. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. So, and I have a very good friend who lives in Denmark, who's been trying to get me to go to Denmark for 20 years, and I have not gone. So maybe that'll be my dream trip when you have a place to stay. Okay, hobbies and creativity. Again, sorry putting gardening in here so much, but that is a great hobby. Painting, woodworking, blog or YouTube channel. That is definitely not me either. And join hobbyist clubs. And one thing that I'm going to look into is I'm going to maybe try to be a bird watcher. I love the sound of birds. So I thought, that's something I could do. It wouldn't cost a lot. It wouldn't hurt my knees after, my knee surgery. So I'm going to try that. I'll let you know how it goes. All right. My Senior Resource Council journey. Has anybody heard of the Senior Resource Council in here? Okay. It's been around since 1988. So what the Senior Resource Council is, it's a professional organization that through membership you can join. We have probably 115 businesses right now. All the businesses that deal with seniors, we ask if they would like to join us. And then we provide networking, education, and information. And it's all to enable and to enrich the lives of seniors, okay? So I didn't do a very good job saying our mission statement. Basically, we're a bunch of companies that get together and we all work together to try to benefit seniors. Okay. So I joined in 2018 when I worked at the independent living job. I stayed active through COVID, which was very hard for SRC because we couldn't get together and do anything. So I have served on the Fundraising Education Committee 6 years for Joe Henjum on the nomination committee, and this is my second year for the holiday dinner dance. So I joined the board in 2023, so be 3 years in January, and then I'm continuing to volunteer for Joe Henjum and the holiday dinner dance, which is November the 8th at the Colorado Springs Hub. I don't know if anybody's heard of the holiday dinner dance. It's been going on probably almost as long as SRC, 30 years, where seniors for free can enjoy a night of dancing and dinner. And it's just an awesome thing for the seniors. It's going to be at the Colorado Springs Hub. If anybody's heard of that, it's Austin Bluffs and Academy, and it's a very cool venue. It's where we had Joe Henjum last year that Melissa was at. Melissa is familiar with Senior Resource Council. She was actually nominated for Outstanding Professional. That's what Joe Henjum is. We nominate our peers, and she was able to come and get a nice little ribbon that we put around her neck and a little, a nice little certificate. So it was just a very cool evening. So that's how I think I really initially met, or maybe it was at the previous Joe Henjum. We've been around a little while. Okay, so lessons learned. So I think from all of this, retirement is an emotional transition. It's just not financial. You have to find what makes you happy during your retirement, whether it be full of volunteering or full of spending time with family and friends, because balance is what we all need. Because if you have too much community service going on and you don't have enough time at home, it can create some issues. So for me, balance is very important, and I'm still working on that. And just let you be you. Embrace your unique path to retirement. Because again, everybody was different. All right, just a little bit of retirement humor. This is what my husband said his favorite joke was. So my wife asked what I did today. I said nothing. She said, well, that's what you did yesterday. And I said, I wasn't finished. So that's kind of how it is with the husband, but that's okay. So retirement is about finding your joy on your own terms. So thank you. Boy, I did like 30 minutes. I thought I would do longer. Sorry. Does anybody want to share their retirement story?
Still,
Are you still working?
yes, part-time. So yeah, I'm still kind of figuring it out. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of decisions to make.
hmm I think I have things that I want to do, but it just kind of a bit of a maze or trying to find different things.
Yeah, and sometime when you retire at 62, you have 3 years before you can get on Medicare. And so I had 3 years of very high insurance premiums. So once I hit 65, I was like, I don't have that anymore. I'm on Medicare, thank goodness. So, it's emotional, but it's also financial, definitely financial. There's a lot of different aspects that go into it.
Right.
And hopefully I can stay retired, but I'm not thinking that maybe down the road I'll work part-time. I'll never hopefully have to go back full-time, but 15, 20 hours a week probably would be okay.
Why do you say you might go back? Is it financial or is it emotional, social?
I think a little bit of both. Financially, we're fine. We both have our social security, but when I go off the board of Senior Resource Council, I'm still going to be able to go to their activities, but that's kind of been my family for the last, oh gosh, 5, 6 years. So I may go back just to have that social aspect of it too. Now, the senior center is another place I thought about volunteering at because there's people there all the time. I like to be around people. And I love my husband very much, but sometimes I just need to get away and go somewhere. And I'm sure he feels the same way. He feels the same way. So I don't know, it might be both, but I'm hoping I can just continue to volunteer and not have to worry about getting up and going to work. So yeah, volunteering is much better. Any comments? Jeez. I really tried to stretch it out longer.
I do have another question.
Sure.
And I seen you had different suggestions in that. Are there places that we can research if we don't have a lot of resources to be able to find free activities and find, low cost activities?
Well, have you been to the senior center? And does AAA, do they have free classes? And I call it AAA, Area Agency on Aging. Yes.
So we don't necessarily have a lot of classes other than like what you're participating in today. We have a lot of resources and places to point folks if you're interested in checking some things out, that some things are free, some are low cost. Right now is Arts Month. And so how many people knew it was Arts Month? Sometimes our community does a great job advertising that, other times not so great. But all over the country, it's Arts Month. And so each week they're featuring a different, group of art. So, this week I think is, I forget, but, visual arts, performing arts. So each week has a different theme. And so you can learn more about that at the Cultural Office of the Pikes Peak region, and you can kind of find all kinds of free activities to do that you also might then find affinity groups who are out there that you can join their group and kind of make friends, find companions, those kinds of things. So, you just never know what might be happening in our region in terms of something that is an opportunity to just get more involved and make friends if you want to make friends, or just, kind of go and hang out and do something different. We have an age-friendly Pikes Peak website that has a link on it that links to a lot of different types of social activities that people can connect to and get more engaged in. But again, the senior center here in Colorado Springs, as well as in Fountain, I can't speak highly enough for the work that especially the Colorado Springs Senior Center is doing to make it appealing to a lot of seniors, not just, seniors who want to still just play bridge. They really, the caliber of art classes that they have and activities, trips, just amazing things there. So if you want more ideas, again, I'm happy to, kind of talk a little bit more. I'll also just mention Pillar. I should put that out there. If you haven't heard of Pillar, you can just kind of look it up, PILLAR. Also a really great resource for, kind of lecture opportunities, but you meet like-minded people, and, who knows where that might lead down the road. So I'll share that. And I'll turn it back over to Regina for other questions, or if you want to comment and continue on that thing of things to do and, kind of how do we find those things?
Yeah, like Melissa said, I can't speak. The senior center is just awesome. And it doesn't cost you anything to join. And then you would, if you wanted to take a class, it would be $3 or something. It would be very low class, but there are people who just go in there and they just hang out and do puzzles. There are two guys the other day, they were just so cute putting together a puzzle when I was there. It's just a beautiful place. And so the senior center might be a great way for you to start. Hopefully and even Silver Key brings people there. They get transportation to bring you if you cannot make it there. So that's just one place I really just love to go to. It's got a great friendly vibe there. So, and Tom Lathrop, who is, I don't know what to call him. He's like the CEO of it right now. He's like the head guy. He is on the board of Senior Resource Council. So he's really an awesome guy who's running it. And it's all run pretty much on volunteers. They only have like 5 full-time people and they have like 20 volunteers. So their volunteers are very important to them. So thank you.
Other comments online? Any other comments from the room? So Regina, I'm going to come up and say thank you. I do have a few final comments here for sure, because tonight is our last night of our series. And so this is just a joy to see people come, hear the kinds of questions and things that pique people's interests and what people want to learn more about, people sharing their own experiences so we can learn more as well. Really want to remind folks, if you haven't taken the opportunity, please fill out the surveys. We send surveys to people who have participated in these programs. We really want to hear from you. We don't know what we don't know. And, part of what helps us decide, what to bring for next year is because we hear from people and they say, oh, well, this would have been interesting. And can we have that kind of comment or that kind of content being shared? So please fill out your surveys. The next thing I wanted to mention, as Regina put her own bio together, but she left something out. Regina is the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Senior Resource Council. So a round of applause, please. So, yeah.
No,
Well,
she got the outstanding professional. She was nominated. So it was just awesome for both of us to be there, right?
Yeah. But congratulations on that, because it says a lot for people recognizing all of what you've given to the community over the years, what you're still giving to the community. And for the folks that are on, the call tonight and in the room, it really is about, what do you want to be doing in retirement? And how do you want to be spending your time? And how fortunate it is for many people to be able to think through those things and have an opportunity to jump in and do what you kind of want to do at that point in time. And you had mentioned some things about values, figuring out values and what really matters, and talking about decluttering. And so for those who are dealing with some decluttering things, I will mention a resource called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. I see some nodding heads in the room. When I first heard about this, I thought it was going to be some type of ritual that I'm cleaning my mother's body after she's died because she's Swedish. It's not that at all. It's about what your values are when you're still living and how to move through your things so that you can move them to where you want them to be based on your value system, so that you can have some death cleaning so that you can still live a really great life right now. So I think that, when you brought up values and decluttering, I just had to kind of plant the seed for that book, because it was really really informative and really helpful. And a reminder that 1 in 4 people are isolated and suffering from loneliness, right? I think about my women friends. There's 8 of us. 2 of us, even though we're together, are probably still pretty lonely. And so, as you guys leave the, talk today, think about people could be yourself, but think about people reach out to folks, connect, find those, activities that make a difference and get involved and get engaged. And so the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging, we do have 2 leadership councils. If you want to get involved and get engaged, Regina's a great example of being involved in the Senior Resource Council. If you're interested and wanted to be part of leadership councils that we have at our organization, please feel free to reach out to me and I can tell you more about those. And we are always looking for people to join those and help us do our job better. And we need those folks to help us. And so with that, I'm going to close out our final presentation of our seven talks that we've done. And I'm going to ask Bree to come back up to make another final comment as well. So thank you all. And until next year, but here's Bree.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Regina. Just truly thank you to all of you for joining us for this series. To Melissa's point, we take that feedback very seriously and form that in our next sessions. So often, a lot of times there'll be named similar things, but there's new content that's added from our speakers based on your feedback. So that's so important. But truly, thank you to all of you. Thank you so much, Melissa and Regina and the speakers of this series. It means a lot to get this information out. So glad that you're all here to get it and just cannot thank you enough for being a part of it. So thank you.